player who wins this match already in the APAC Cup. First pre-bans in Game 1 will be Gianna and Ragdoll as we kick off this best of 5.
A very safe go-to for pre-bans for both players as we see Hong KFC. He's got the first pick. Now the question is, will it be Okeanos again?
Okeanos has been doing very well today. I don't see any reason to necessarily avoid it, and it is indeed going to be locked in for Hong KFC. Now, Diligent, do you continue to answer back with just more of the common picks, or are you already setting the tone here?
Common picks like Fire Bison and Lulu, but Diligent, I do like this potential switch up from him because if you go Fire Bison and Lulu, today the problem has been the opponent takes Gani. Now they got Gani Oki, they pair it with like a Moore or Chungpong, and usually it's been just too much of a combo to deal with. So I really like that Diligent has made that combo not come here again as we see Chungpong
also at 66%, also 6 wins. I mean, these Art Masters, there's a reason a lot of these players have a lot of focus on the different Art Masters we're seeing. Why Chungpong and more locked in for Han KFC? Does the Han come back again? Han
is definitely a shiny unit when it comes to damage popping off. And of course, Wunsa is there for the synergy. Diligent has the speed leader for Wunsa in both Sierra and Han. The only problem is, if the last pick is not a dark unit, it could become a little anti-synergetic. So, of course, the draft here is going to play a huge role as Hong. He is opting for a more defensive lineup, that really fast Haegang and Lulu.
Okay, so the Lulu and Haegang, 2 more water units now being placed in the hands of Hong KFC. Diligent, looking at the last pick, what's it going to be? A lot of considerations here, as you mentioned, for different synergies in his compositions.
5 seconds left, and he decides to potentially switch it up all the way. He's like, you know what? I no longer need to finish up my lineup. I'm rather going to look at the opponent's side and pick a unit that really counters them well, because there's a lot of reliance on water on the side of Hong KFC. So this Diana pick is definitely really scary coming out of Diligent.
Okay, so the Diana now adding more of those wind monsters for himself on Diligent's side. Hong KFC does ban out the Ganymede against him. Diligent will respond by banning out the Okeanos as his post-ban in this Game 1. This is a best of 5. Oh, the leaders now being locked in as well.
Yeah, speaking of leaders, Diligent did opt for the Sierra's 24% instead of Han's 30% for the Wunsa. But here is the confidence showing from Diligent. He knows he can grab the turn anyways, but the strip is a bit of a miss. But it does not matter because Sierra was there. She only needed 1 unit straight, but of course the stun matters.
The stun onto Sierra, so Moore already doing his job as we kick things off in this best of 5. It's the first game, and it's already on fire.
Fire indeed, as we see Diana. I like that Diligent didn't use the shield there. He saved his inevitable wound so that in the turn coming, Diana's immediately going to be a threat. But of course, once Chungpong reset the Diana, Diana still needs to wait an extra turn as he says, no thank you.
There is that extra turn. It comes right back for the Diana, so doesn't have to wait that much longer. Now gets the shield up for his entire team.
The problem there was, it feels so good to switch forms and go for the inevitable wound, but you just gave attack bar to Moore, and at that point she could have got cut and got despair stun. So that was a really safe play out of Diligent. I love how slow he's taking this. As we see now, Wunsa, he's only got skill 1. If it lands asleep, that would be huge, but not today.
Yeah, Moore still going to be awake and healthy right now. So Diligent still just playing things calmly, step by step. This is what we've seen from him. He's very calm and collected in every single matchup.
The 1-turn control out of Chungpong doing so much work for Hong KFC right now. And we see, of course, the armor break is still there on Han and Sierra. So Moore is going to try to capitalize those debuffs and get some damage done. He's got the skill too. He's got the setup. Rolling Spike is there for some damage.
Yeah, puts out a lot of damage. I mean, Diligent, you're slowly getting chipped down on all of your monsters with all this AoE coming out. Han continuing to be focused quite a bit as well. He's on the verge of death.
But now Diana has the Pew Pew angle. She can go for a unit of her choosing. It's going to be Moore, and now Moore's going to be looking for the kill onto Han.
Oh, answers right back. So Moore stays alive. Han gets eliminated. Han KFC.
Oh!
Had a numbers advantage, but it looks like perhaps no longer as Diana looking for another shot.
He's going for a bit of a spread onto Changpeng, setting up the Sierra nicely. Fate of Destruction is there, but it's going to miss. And now he's just going to have to utilize the skill 1 onto Moore to take him out.
Yeah, doesn't get the bomb, still, of course, able to get that turn off of the skill to finish off Moore. So we're back to a 3v3 as Diana gets a turn, transforms back.
3v3, but just look at Diana. If you look at the matchup between these three, Diana alone is representing the force of 50 monsters. Diana, how do you deal with this if you're Hong KFC? You have to be landing, glancing to at least buy some time, but he's afraid of going for it. He wants the attack bar reduction instead. But now, the problem is, Lulu has a heal, but Diana, if she gets a turn, that could be just 1 unit dead.
Yeah, Hong KFC, as you mentioned, just trying to delay the inevitable as far as possible, but it is creeping forward.
Here we have more control being attempted. Changpeng a turn away from the control skills. The skill 1 going to be grabbing a little bit of attack bar reduction, but we have, of course, Wunsa getting the strip on 1 unit, which is more than enough for Sierra to set up the bomb and go for the detonate.
Oh, wow, there we go, and it's actually just going to wipe him right out. So there goes Hong KFC calling the GG, and Diligent will be leading this. It does show the power of that pick. So now, Diligent leading 1-0. It's still a best of 5, so there are a couple more games in store. Han now being banned out by Hong KFC. Doesn't want to have to worry about that monster, trying to focus it down. Haegang, meanwhile, the ban for Diligent.
It is definitely a monster that makes you worry because of all the utilities it brings within the leader skill, within the damage. As we now see, once again, we're going to be seeing a bit more of a standard trade-off, you know, getting a bit of CC for themselves. Okeanos, more perfect.
This is where we get to catch our breath, Peter, is these first couple picks. We know what's coming. These players have been quite consistent. The Okeanos is no big surprise. The Gianna finally able to make a reappearance, still sitting at a healthy win rate so far in the APAC preliminaries. And Moore, of course, has shown up pretty much in every game today. Pontos does get locked in for Diligent.
Pontos, this is a unit that we haven't seen much today, but finally he does make an appearance. It is a unit that is technically countered by Gianna if you think about it, because his main upside is his buffs, but Gianna makes buffs something negative.
That's true. Gianna, of course, ever so strong while being able to strip and then stun off of those beneficial effects being taken away. So Han KFC perhaps not too worried. He's going to stick with Lulu and Changpeng for himself as we wait now for the last picks on Diligent's side.
I have to point out this Ganny. This Ganny is grabbing so much value for Diligent right now. He's got the Oki there. He's got the Pontos there. No matter what you ban besides Ganny, he's always going to have a really strong combo coming in with a draft like this. Savannah just going to be rounding out the draft, bringing the extra damage that makes Diligent feel comfy. But of course, when we do see a Rika from the opposing side, you can't help but wonder if you're Diligent, is my Pontos going to get banned?
It's gotta be. I mean, look at Rika already at an 83%.
God.
I mean, Rika dominated last week in Group A. 5 wins, only 1 loss, and as you called it, the Pontos gets eliminated, and now Hong KFC looking at this Rika to do some damage against Diligent's lineup.
So Diligent took out the counter to Pontos, right? But now that Pontos got banned out, we can say that Diligent kind of lost out on the ban here, because now he is going into the match with an open field for Rika. His only shot was getting the reset onto Rika. Of course, Okeanos being locked down does make that harder, but Savannah has the critical link to set up for the Ganny right now. Seal Magic is going to be the follow-up. He's got the speed tuning, so of course it's going to land as it always does.
Oh, whew. Well, that is one breath that Diligent can take. Doesn't have to worry about the Rika too much for now, but of course the inevitable will happen if he's not able to lock it down soon enough.
But it's just so scary. If you look at Diligent, his field, he's already falling below the healthy range on his HP bars, and he does not have any sustain. And Rika also has a built-in sleep on skill 1, which can bring all the cooldowns back. So if you're Diligent, you are definitely sitting right now with a bit of worry.
Yeah, not too many answers. As you mentioned, Rika just bothers you so much in every skill that she has. So we'll see if Diligent is able to work around that. Hong KFC continuing to just control the board as much as possible.
Here we go. He's looking for the Rika show. He lands a despair, but not a sleep. So there's no additional turn for the Rika for now. Of course, if you're diligent, you are very happy to see that. You got to make use of the time now wisely. And he decides that Moore is too much of a threat to his comp. We can see him prioritizing damage, but the glancing, man.
The glancing is going to prevent a lot of that damage he had hoped to put down. So much immunity as well. So no Rain of Stones, but going for that spear.
The spear gets resisted. We can see Diligent. He really wants to make sure that the Rika is not popping off. The glancing there from Ganny to try to prevent some of that advantage coming out of Rika, of course, as we see Savannah dismounted. Of course, units are starting to look a bit unhealthy for Diligent. Rika, so scary whenever she grabs a turn, but she does not get the sleep.
Oh, so Rika not getting those sleeps just yet, but as you mentioned, Diligent's still pretty weak. Okay.
Okeanos not doing so okay with the stuns.
It's, you know, it's not what we've seen from him before today. I mean, today he's been so consistent in this game. Not yet.
Look at the ragdoll damage piling up. The torrent coming out for 10,000. Chung Pung is going to be brought down real low. He's looking for the control now onto Ganny. Grabs the attack bar reduction, but the ragdoll's passive kicks in. More attack bar for Savannah. More attack bar for everyone as Diligent trying to take out the Chung Pung.
Diligent's trying his best to turn things around. I mean, he's been doing so well trying to keep that Rika at bay. And now the Ragdoll also shining with that passive is going to get the first kill against Hong KFC. That Chung Pung now out of the game.
Rika has her skill 2 up, so we have to pay attention to how many stuns, how many attack speed slows she gets. Boy Knight, and he gets 2-man stun, triple attack speed slow.
That is a lot of control used against, and Moore is able to finish the job, taking down one monster as well. So now it is back to a 3v3, but already so behind. So Diligent just concedes, says this is too much to handle, and Hong KFC answers. Both players still needing 2 more wins to secure their spot in the APAC Cup as we're watching the winners finals in Group B of the APAC preliminaries. We return to the same pre-bans in Game 1. It's Gianna and Ragdoll being eliminated.
We wanted to see blood, and we are definitely getting it, Chobra. Already 1-1 as we get into the third match between these players. Hong KFC recognizing Okeanos to be one of the stars in his lineup. And last time this happened, Diligent did pick up the Sierra Ganymede, but switching it up now to the Moore.
So bringing Moore over to his side. Moore has been pretty consistent for Hong KFC, so takes that away, and then the Ganymede, as you mentioned. So taking away these monsters that we've seen paired quite a bit with that Okeanos, Hong KFC answers with Ciara and still going for that Haegang that he's ever so favored.
Haegang is definitely one of the favorite monsters of Hong KFC, as you said, Chobra. And now we are seeing the Tianlang potentially making an appearance again for Diligent, paired with the Lulu, grabbing a lot of heals for himself.
Yeah, lots of sustain. We're starting to see a bit more shifts. I mean, both of these players, they clearly put in a lot of thought into both their draft and their gameplay once we go in. So very interested to see how they continue to round out their compositions. Hong KFC now considering his last 2 picks here in game number 3.
So what's interesting about Tianlang is that he can be utilized as a bit of a counter to the Haegang, because one of the main mechanisms of Haegang is that when you strip a buff, your team gets attack bar, right? But we see the Fran's win rate. That's not very pretty.
That is not high at all. To be fair, a lot of times we see the Fran having to go up against Lulu, and Lulu clearly has a very high win rate, but that is a bit worrisome. Fran, of course, still a strong monster, so Hong KFC going to pick that one up for himself. Diligent down to the last second is going to round things out with Cardinal.
I do like the Cardinal. It's got synergy with Ganny, and it brings a purpose to the strippers that he has picked through Tianlang and more. At this point, we are looking at 1 sustain on each side, and we've seen a lot of bans prioritizing taking out the opponent's sustain. So I wouldn't be too surprised to see potentially Fran or Lulu being banned from one of these players. If not, they should be taking out one of like the crucial monsters in terms of carrying like Sierra.
Sierra and Tianlong. So instead of the sustain, they're more concerned about some of these key monsters on both sides. Diligent bans out the Sierra, Hong KFC bans out the Light Panda Warrior, and now we are all ready to jump into game number 3 in this best of 5. It's the winners finals to see who moves on to the APAC Cup from Group B here in the APAC preliminaries.
And we see the Moore grabbing the first turn for Diligent, and we see the Okeanos responding now. The passive of Haegang boosting the attack bar of the Okeanos gives a shot for the Spear of Devastation to land onto Gani and get the reset.
Yeah, Gani not going to have that skill 3. There's not too many options here.
Yeah, the Ventilate is there for the Strip to be set up for the Cardinal if needed. But of course, now Chungpong is going to take his turn. He's got the Strip. He can reset. Of course, Chungpong always has so many different things he can do.
Yeah, Chungpong, this is the reason why we see this Wind Art Master so often as he goes for all the glancing across the board.
Yeah, and now we see the attack bar reduction out of Moore. Will it be enough for Cardinal to get a turn before Fran? That is the main point we were looking at. But look at that. The second Fran cuts in. Cardinal becomes that much weaker.
Yeah, you see all that immunity, and Cardinal doesn't have too many things he wants to do in this situation. Sure, you have the options, but they're just not going to be as impactful. Still a lot of damage done.
Damage, but not quite enough. As we see now the response from Hong KFC grabbing all the control. We have seen how devastating Chungpong can be with the skill 3, but of course Lulu is there to try to buy some time for Diligent, and he says no to your damage.
Yeah, Lulu is kind of the big hope now for Diligent. You just have to be able to buy enough time for your team to get another window of opportunity, but will it come?
Will it come indeed? That's the question. As we see Chungpong, he is a turn away from setting up some armor break for Okeanos and Haegang. Ganymede also a turn away from Ventilate. Both players right now, they do need to buy some time, as Cardinal's going to be fantastic at that with Sword Rain, looking for 3 stuns, and he gets none.
None! So unfortunate. Had 3 members available to be stunned, doesn't get any. So it's not going to provide the value that Diligent was looking for. Lulu's still doing her best to keep the team alive.
That 0 stun is going to snowball for Hong. It is going to be very scary for Diligent now, as he has to take the brunt force of these skills. Reset landing onto Gani again. This Gani has not been happy this game.
Yeah, Ganymede hasn't been able to do anything for Diligent. Sure, you've got the Ventlates, but even then, you don't have much to set up for, as Hong KFC has been able to respond every time. Does get the resets for Cardinal, so Cardinal will have his skills back.
But the problem is, if we look at the match now, Diligent is in a really comfortable spot. All he needs to do is take out the Okeanos, and there is Cardinal, there's more to carry the match, and this will be the killing blow onto Okeanos, and look at the stuns.
Wow, gets 2 stuns this time and eliminates the Okeanos. That is huge for the Cardinal, now providing
Rolling
the
spike.
value.
Wow. Value of damage coming out now from Moore, and look at the field. What a advantage for Diligent as he secures the win against KFC, coming in to round number 4.
Round number 4, this is match point for Diligent. So if he wins here, he will secure his spot in the APAC Cup. Hong KFC, meanwhile, that means he will have to wait until tomorrow's losers finals to get a second chance. The pre-bans repeat themselves from game number 2. Haegang and Han taken out of the game. Okeanos continues to be that first pick.
Continues to be the first pick, but for Hong, he says Gianna is more important to me than the Ganymede. So now Diligent, of course, he can just go ahead and lock in that trusty combo, as we see Lulu the pair, a popular pair into pretty much any type of composition. And if you're Hong right now, you are definitely sitting there feeling scared of Gani Oki.
Yeah, you gave away that combo. Sure, you prioritized the monsters you wanted, but that is a combo to be feared time and time again. Hong KFC, does he have other answers prepared? I mean, we saw some good drafting from him in round 2. Can he pull it off again as he locks in Chungpong and Fran?
Hong KFC mentioned that last year, nerves were some of the biggest troubles for him in SWC. He just got too nervous and he couldn't think straight. And right now, I'm sure he's feeling more nervous than ever. He needs to get his mind together, because this last pick coming out of Diligent and from Hong is going to decide a lot of things in this match point for Diligent.
Yeah, Hong KFC, again, he made it happen. He twisted the tables at the end of the draft for Game 2 as we see Diligent locking in Diana and Ragdoll. Hong KFC, a lot to consider if he wants to stay alive here in this best of 5. Is he still going to go with the Rika? I mean, Rika has been providing a lot of value, very high win rate for this monster.
And I wouldn't be too surprised to see a ban onto Rika from Diligent, but he decides that his reset from Okeanos is going to be more than enough to deal with the Rika, but last time we have seen that it wasn't, so it is going to be a question now. How effectively can Diligent keep the Rika down?
Okay, well, game number 4 between these two players. It's the winners finals of best of 5. Diligent needs only one more win to move on to the APAC Cup.
Here we go. Diana getting some attack bar after more. She's got the shield, but Chungpong will be able to cleanse, strip the deep buffs right off. As now Diana, of course, Diligent realizing that, opts for skill 1 instead.
All right, so just going to get that attack in and pass the turn for now. Same for Ganymede.
Ganymede did not do much, but Okeanos is here and he misses! This is why we were talking about Rika being too much of a threat sometimes, because once you miss your one shot, you get it right back.
Oh my gosh. I mean, last time you did your best to hold off that Rika, but this time you only have that one chance with the Okeanos and it doesn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, there's not too many stuns, right, from the Rika, but it doesn't matter because the dots are there for the damage. As time ticks by, damage will tick as well. And of course, Oki Gani, although they are strong together, if there's no strip, they are not strong at all.
Yeah, the shield trying to mitigate whatever you can from the Diana, but you called it, Peter. I mean, these dots, they look so intimidating above everybody's head right now, chipping away.
Diana's shield buying some time, right? Putting up some resistance against the dots. But Rika is here with the Toy Knight. She's looking to grab a lot more control for Hong. Once the Fran ends her turn, she is going to be now a turn and 2 turns basically away from skill 3. Ragdoll, he can't really get any kills right now.
Yeah, no answers right now. No windows for those kills. Just getting what damage he can against that Moor.
And now here is time for Rika to show up with double stuns. Okeanos, you have a bit of an angle for Rain of Stones, but with the glancing, you're not going to land on water. The rolling strike out of Moore is going to do some good damage. And now Diana, definitely, you want to try to sustain.
Yeah, has to go for that shield. You got to stay alive right now. You're trying to extend your life ever so little. You got 2 stuns at the very least. And now what can Diligent do? Is Hong going to give him another window as Chungpong gets another turn?
Another turn for Chungpong, very crucial because next turn he would have had the skill 3 and skill 2, but the revenge out of Diana showing to be very useful, but despair as well.
Stuns across both sides as Diana now going to be locked down for the foreseeable future. Okeanos just gets the attack and cycles the turn.
This is the deciding moment for Diligent. He needed the attack bar reduction, but he could not get it. So effectively, he's basically lost a turn of CC. And this is going to be a free turn now for the Rika. Anytime she gets a free turn, you are a bit worried. Oki, a turn away. Diligent still needs to buy just 1 turn more worth of time as he's looking for some damage onto Fran.
Yeah, just 1 turn. Can we wait for that for Diligent? Can Diligent hang on to dear life here in Game 4? He is only 1 win away from going to the APAC Cup in SWC 2021.
Hong KFC playing smart right now, targeting wind with water. But here's Okeanos. The Rika, she's got the angle though. If she gets a sleep here, this could be game over for Diligent because that skill 3 could be too much. She couldn't get the sleep. Now, it's now or never. Diligent with the ventilate onto Okeanos. This is a time where Okeanos needs to shine, but Chungpong, he is sitting there. He's looking for the attack bar reduction into another turn. He is looking for something to happen. He needs to buy time for the Rika, but you look at the attack bars. Okeanos has a setup. Rika just needs 1 turn. She is looking to resist the Rain of Stones.
Oh, the stun comes through and Rika won't get that turn she was waiting for.
Just 1 turn, man. That is all Hong KFC needs right now. But you look at Gani, he's got Seal Magic. It's not going to get good attack bar reduction, but of course, the damage is good enough. As we see now, Okeanos, Rain of Stones, finishing the job. And look at Rika.
Oh, Rika gets stunned at the last time. The Rain of Stones